to my channel. Today we're going to be reviewing the McGrath Mothership Bronze Temptation Eyeshadow Palette. If you do want to see a review and swatches, please keep watching. This is what the packaging looks like. This does retail for $55 at Sephora.com and Sephora in stores. Here's a close-up of what the eyeshadow palette does look like. It comes in this beautiful packaging. Here you have all 6 shades. Oh, and it comes with a mirror. Then you have this plastic film which protects the eyeshadows. Look how gorgeous these eyeshadows look. And then of course on the back of the packaging you do have some of the ingredients. So let's get into the swatches. I'm not sure what the shade names are because I removed the film. So I'm not sure if it's this way. I'm pretty sure it's this way. So yeah, so we're just going to start with the first shade here in Celestial. Ooh, that is so buttery in the pan. And here's what the shade in Celestial looks like. That is so gorgeous, and it's very, very pigmented. The shadow does have a slight duochrome to it. The shade is a golden bronze duochrome shade. It is gorgeous. I think I swatched the wrong shade. The shade is not called Celestial, it's called Provactix. This shade is a golden bronze duochrome shadow. The next shade in the collection is called Corruption. Super buttery in the pan as well. I'm just gonna swatch the shade in Corruption. And this shade is a bronze burgundy shade. And of course, you know, I had to blend that out with my finger, and that's just a gorgeous bronze burgundy shade. The next shadow in the collection is called Dark Paradise, and this is a brick red shade. It's a matte shadow. It's not as creamy as the other 2 metallic shades were. It's more of a brown than a brick red in my opinion. The next shadow in the collection is called Supernova. This is an emerald green shadow. Again, very buttery in the pan. And here we have this emerald green shade. I think this shadow will look great for holiday. The next shade in the collection is called Burning Desire, and this is a matte terracotta shade. I think this would be a great transition shade for me because you can barely see that. And then of course the last shadow in the eyeshadow palette is called Celestial. This is beautiful champagne shade. Wow, that is a gorgeous shadow. Actually, all 6 of these shades are very pigmented. You guys, I didn't even notice that I swatched the champagne shade on top of this matte shadow. So I'm just gonna swatch the matte shadow right below the champagne shade. I mean, you guys probably couldn't even tell I swatched the champagne shadow on top of it because it's similar to my skin complexion. Let's create a look. The first shade that I am gonna be dipping to is this shade in Burning Desire. Just gonna be grabbing that shadow with a fluffy brush. I love that this eyeshadow palette does come with a mirror, so I don't have to worry. So like I said, I'm just gonna take that shadow and just buff that in my crease using circular motions. You guys probably can't even tell that I am adding this, but this is a really nice shadow. I like how pigmented it is, and I don't have to use a lot of pressure when applying. Can't even tell that I applied that shadow on my lid. So I'm just gonna be doing the same thing for this other eye. The next shadow that I am going to be taking is this shadow right here in Dark Paradise. I'm going to be using that same brush, dab it ever so slightly on my outer V, and bringing that shade halfway in. So I'm going to do the same thing for the other eye. I'm not even using the brush just to move it up back and forth. I'm just tapping this shadow. So now that we have some dimension on our eyes, I do want to take this duochrome shadow, just taking it on my finger, and we're going to pack that all over our lid. It's actually really pretty. I actually like this duochrome shadow, but I feel like my finger isn't really doing this shadow any justice, so I am going to be picking up this shade on a packer brush. I have that same shade packed on this brush, and I'm going to apply this shadow. And this brush is dry, it's not wet, because I do want to see how the shadow does perform dry. It looks like we are going to have to wet our brush. There we go. I do like how the eyeshadow does pop when it is wet, but it's creating this like weird ripple. Just taking a clean fluffy brush, and we're just gonna blend this. I don't know what is going on. I think I probably wet my brush too much. Like I dampened it too much with some setting spray. The eyeshadow does look a little bit better now. I'll be doing the same thing for my other eye. I'm just gonna be using my finger just to pat in the shadow, and then I'm gonna be using a packer brush. This particular shade that I first swatched, it does have a little bit of fallout, so I am going to be taking some setting powder and I'm just going to place it underneath my eyes. That way when we're done with this eyeshadow look, it'll be easier to just dust away. Just taking a little bit of my Milk Makeup Blur translucent powder on the back of the cap. I'm going to be taking my damp beauty blender and we're going to be setting this powder. We have that setting powder applied to our face. I'm going to go back in using that duochrome shadow. I've already applied that shadow right here with my fingertip. Now I'm going to be using a packer brush just to pack on the shadow. I'm just going to be dusting away this setting powder. There was a little bit of fallout with that particular shadow, so definitely next time when I am using that shade, I would have to do my eye makeup first before I do my face makeup. I'm just going to be adding mascara to my look and I'll be right back. So here's what the final eyeshadow look does look like. Of course, I have to use something Pat McGrath. I'm using the shade in 1995. I did review these lippies last week on my channel, so if you have not seen that yet, I will link that up here in the cards if you're interested. I definitely forgot to highlight my inner corner, so I am going to be taking this champagne shade. I'm going to be popping that in my inner corner. I love how that champagne shade really did brighten up the look. I was expecting this shadow in Dark Paradise to be more brick red. I was pulling more brown. It's really weird that it does swatch brown. I just want to show you guys again. Kind of disappointing because I really wanted a brick red shade in this collection. The two shades that really stick out to me are these two shadows here, which was the first one that we swatched, and the second one. I love these two. When these shadows do hit the light, it does reflect very different shades. Burgundy shade flashes more coppery, and this gold shade flashes more of like a rose gold shadow. So I love these two shades. So these two are the star of this eyeshadow palette. I do feel like the other four shades in the collection are just matte shades. I mean, they're good quality shadows, but they weren't a wow factor for me. For $55, I expected to be wowed. This shadow in the middle, you really can't tell on my skin complexion that it's there. This champagne shade has been done before, so it's not anything wow. The green shadow, I'm pretty sure you can find a green that's a dupe. It's really these duochrome shadows that I really purchased this eyeshadow palette for. So for $55, I really expected more out of this eyeshadow palette. These two duochrome shadows, which I really hope that Pat McGrath does come out in singles. I think they will sell out. But I am going to be keeping this eyeshadow palette because of the duochrome shadows. If you guys did enjoy this video, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, please do subscribe. I will see you guys in my next video.